What's up, everybody? This is Jay, and this is Empire Season 5, Episode 8, Master of What Is Mine Own. I want to thank everybody that supports my work at patreon.com/ Jaymoorereviews, and also everybody that supports me at PayPal. Without your support, I wouldn't continue to do this. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and let's get into it. We see Lucius wiping off some blood. And so we're wondering what's happening. And Cookie saying, hey, I just got word that he's in surgery. Lucius, what's going on? You wiping off some blood? And then he kind of looking worried. And she like, Lucius, what happened? And then next thing you know, it flashed back to 4 months earlier. And we see Lucius laying in the bed and Cookie and they talking. And she's trying to call her sister and she can't get through. And he like, you need to just give her time. And so he's going to get his peg leg out the drawer so he can get on the good foot. And he's getting ready to get out. And he like, you need to just leave her alone. You know how your sister is. And she like, yeah, well, he like, wait, hold on. I almost forgot about Jamal. And so then they like, oh yeah. And then they go and turn the TV on and they see Jamal and he on there and he's singing on the TV. And so they get all cozied up, ready to watch Jamal. And there he is dancing. He's shaking his shoulders left to right. He's moving. He's singing his little love song and they got everybody there and they all happy. And then you got this dude, the reporter. He like, hey, Jamal, great job. Hey, how's it going? He like, oh man, it's great. He like, you look like you're happy. He like, man, everything's great right now. And I'm trying to put together this showcase. He like, oh yeah, the showcase, you gonna perform? He like, yeah, I'm gonna perform. And he like, why are you so happy? He like, well, I'm getting married and I'm engaged. And he's like, oh, okay, who's the lucky guy? And he's over there sticking out his tongue and whatever, like, and he like Kai Gibbons. He like, Kai, and Kai is sitting in the background like, wait a minute, no, not me. He like, oh, Kai, I know Kai. He like, oh, okay. He said, give him my best. He like, oh, Kai, he gives the best. He like, oh, Kai, hey, Kai, come here. Let's get Kai on camera. Hey guys, say Kai, how you doing? And he's smiling and proud of his little boo thing. Meanwhile, we see Cookie and Lucius and they sitting there and they watching it. They like, hey, this is great. Jamal's gonna get everybody ready for the big showcase. This is doing good. Aren't you happy? She like, yeah. He like, hey, I forgot. Check in that drawer. She like, wait a minute. What's this? He like, that's a picture of all the jewelry at your favorite jewelry store. I'm going to buy it for you. She say, you so sweet. And they give a little kiss and hug. Meanwhile, we see she flashed back to 2 years earlier. And he was walking her through blindfolded. He like, don't peek. She like, Lucius, you better not walk me into no wall. He like, no, baby. Look at this. On 3. 1, 2, she like 3. Is that a Derek Adams? He like, yeah. She like, Lucius, how we can afford this? He say, hey, we betting on ourselves. If I can't bet on ourselves, who can? It's me and you, baby, all the way. She like, oh. And so she remembering those good feel-good moments right there. Meanwhile, we see back at Empire, Kingsley is throwing together a little meeting, and so he's telling everybody, hey, I want to let you know that effective immediately, we're going to vault all of Lucius Lyon's work. And Becky like, what? Why are we doing this? He's like, well, Disney did it, and it proved beneficial, and so we're going to do the same thing. And Giselle like, yeah, but how is that going to help with us? I thought you and Lucius kissing made up. He like, oh yeah, this is just strategy. This isn't anything like that. And then you see this other dude, nerdy dude, like, man, but Disney let their customers know first. And then they ran out and bought stuff. He like, yeah, that's true. You got kids, right? He like, yeah, I got a bunch. He like, and they love Disney. He like, yeah. He like, well, I'm sure you would like to take them. He like, yeah, I take them. He like, it's going to be hard on unemployment. He like, wait a minute, what did I do? Said, you spoke when you should have been listening. Meeting adjourned. And this dude is looking like, what? I don't get it. And so Kingsley, he pretty much tried to check dude in front of everybody. And Becky, she kind of got a little salty because she ain't trying to be in no food stamp line. And so meanwhile, he's pretty much walked off after meeting was adjourned like he done did something and everybody else done got spooked. Meanwhile, we see back at the Empire House, they putting together a song and they got the little dude. They jamming. Lucius and Cookie, they happy. You got Carlito on the track. You got Fred Sanford singing in the middle, Mario and Hakeem. And then Carlito take off the stuff like, man, this ain't working, man. Why they got me bringing up, they got them on Anchor, man. My music is banging on SoundCloud. And Cookie like, excuse me, you hearing this, Lucius? And he like, man, I'm just saying, why we doing this anyway? And we paying for it too. And Mario like, wait a minute, we paying for this? He like, yeah, man, we paying for this. Read your damn contract, bro. And I'm just saying, what's up with this? Cookie like, all right, enough right here, okay? We won you in a card game, and Fred Sanford, we got him out the junkyard, so y'all got some nerve. And yeah, this would be in advance, but we paying for this, and you best believe I'm gonna get my piece, so y'all get back together and let's make this hit. And so they get back to work. Meanwhile, they chilling in there eating, and they talking or whatever, and next thing you know, right when they was talking about the showcase and stuff, and Lucius and everybody, we see Becky walk in, and you see Becky walk in, and Cookie like, oh, Kingsley sent you on the spy mission? And she like, no, I'm here to let you know on my own that Kingsley's gonna vault all your music, Lucius, and I just wanted you to be the first to hear it. And then Andre like, well, that's gonna slow your revenue down, Pop. And he like, what is he, why is he doing that? And then he like, well, she just flew in with the bad news. And so Cosby, he let her go, everybody, and they like, what, don't let it get to you. And he like, that music's our legacy. And she like, nah, that's our past, you need to let it go and we move on, Lucius. And so meanwhile, we see Hakeem, and he chilling, and the place is a mess. And then Tiana like, you need to clean this up. And what's going on? I thought you were supposed to end that with Blake. His fans are crazy. I'm getting death threats. He like, man, I took the video down. She like, yeah, well, you need to squash it with Blake, because they are just going crazy, and they're threatening the kids, and it's gone too far now. He like, all right. And so she getting ready to leave. And so as she leave, he play with the kids for a second. Meanwhile, we see Cookie, and she making some food, and so she talking with Bella drawing a picture, and then next thing you know, Cookie got another visitor, and we see that it's Maya, and so she come in and she talking to her, and she like, and so she walk right past, about to eat her little sandwich, and Maya like, Cookie, I'm sorry, you're right, I broke up with him, he's no good. And she like, girl, I told you. And so she like, Cookie ain't trying to hear it though. She ain't trying to, as Maya, she trying to be humble or whatever. She like, Cookie, I need a place to stay. And she like, don't your mama got 4 walls you can get up under? Then she like, well, we're not actually doing too good right now. She like, yeah, it's probably because of your smart ass mouth you got over there, girl. And she like, oh, well, Cookie, I'm sorry. I mean, you're like all the hope I have right now. Can you please help me? And so she like, girl, I don't know. If you do be here, you can't just be laying around. You're gonna have to get a job. And she smiled. She about to grab some of Cookie food. Cookie jap slapped her hand real quick. You can't be getting none of this up in here. And she looking all salty. She like, no, if you gonna be here, you gonna have to work. You gonna have to earn, and you ain't gonna be just laying around. And so she looking, she like, here, with your old hungry ass. And she like, and with your ass yourself. She like, I am fully moisturized. Meanwhile, we see Lucius, and he done walked over to Empire. And so he went and confronted Kingsley, like, what was that about, coming to my house? Would you try to lull me to sleep? And Kingsley telling the security to back off. And Lucius like, oh, so what was that all about? You just trying to play me? I thought we were on the same page. And he like, oh no, I really had a good time over there at the Lion home. And I still think about it and smile. But this is just business, that's all, just strategy, and nothing more. He like, yeah, well, this is bad business. Why would you do it at the beginning of your quarter when you lose money, huh? This doesn't make any sense. We could at least locked up some of it like YouTube and Prince. And he like, oh, well, I don't know about that. He like, why? This isn't any competition. LFM is no competition. He like, what did Steve Jobs think of your little bitch move? And then he got salty about that as he walked away. And so he like, you know what, Lucius? The real reason? I'm gonna wipe you away, our existence. from a whole generation. How do you think about that? Nobody would know anything about Lucius lying anymore. And so he like, oh, okay, Jeff, that doesn't sound like strategy. That sounds like it's personal to me. Yeah, that's what that is. And so then Kingsley's looking all salty right now because now he done showed his hand that it's personal. And Lucius walk off knowing that, Kingsley is a chump. And so he back at the house like, yeah, he showed me his hand. This is personal. This isn't business. Meanwhile, Andre on the phone talking to Quincy mom. They like, you talking to a woman over business? And he like, well, that was important too, Pops. He said, Cosby said, yeah, but is she real this time? You know, Andre used to have an imaginary friends. And so he left it alone. They said, be cool, he left it alone. And they like, so what's going on? How we gonna figure this out? And they like, well, I don't know. We need to see if, Giselle may be able to help. They like, yeah, I don't know if we can trust her. And he like, well, maybe there's another option. And so next thing you know, as he was leaving, letting them out, Cookie saw them leaving. And she like, Lucius, come here. And so he coming back over there. And she like, you need to tell me something and don't lie. Did you go over there to Empire and did you go talk to Kingsley? And he like, well, what I did was go on a fact-finding mission. She like, you need to leave it alone. We need to move on. He like, no, that music was our legacy. And I just needed to know what was going on. And now I know it's personal. But I'm still here with you and I love you. And so then she looking like, she kind of got a little doubt in her mind now. She upset that he kind of went on ahead and did that when she asked not to. And she thought about 16 months earlier. And she was thinking about when they was coming back from court. And he like, man, Eddie must have paid the judges off. We wouldn't go through this if you hadn't. And she like, what? If I hadn't or what? And he was about to say, if you hadn't lost the Empire. She like, you know what? I'm going to leave before I say something I regret. And so she walked off dragging much wagon. And meanwhile, we see she ended up at some bar or whatever. And so while she was there, she was watching the music, the musicians play. And then you see this dude come behind her with this little busted lip hanging out. And so he like, I know what you thinking. She like, oh, that's your pickup line? That's what you coming with? He like, you thinking the drummer can't keep time, but the other guys is pretty good. If I'm right, could you buy me a drink? So she finished her drink and she like, oh, okay, that's pretty good. Let me get another whiskey neat and get him what he want. And he like, okay, that makes two. And so the bartender comes and poured him a couple shots. And so he talking. He like, yeah, I saw you was, pretty in tune to what was going on. And so I thought that was, pretty good. She like, yeah, I'm also married too. And he like, oh, okay. Well, I hope he know he's a lucky man. And she say, yeah, he thank God every night. And so they ended up cutting the convo short. And then when she was in the elevator, he come karate chop the doors open. And so he slides on in there. And she like, oh, you real persistent, huh? And he like, oh, well, I got a meeting I got to get to. It's starting to crater, so I'm in a hurry. She like, oh, okay. Then the elevator stopped. He start hyperventilating a little. And she like, you okay? You all right? You want to take your jacket off? You need to calm down? And he like, yeah, I don't do good in tight spaces. I get claustrophobic. She like, okay, just take a little breath. Just calm down. And here, just take this off. Let me help you. And so he start taking off his jacket. And she see a little something in his pocket poking out. And she like, oh, okay, what is this right here? And he was like, oh, this right here? Oh, this is just something for the most important person in my life. Something special. It's for my daughter. It's her 5th year cancer-free. And she like, oh, okay, that's nice. He like, yeah, I just want to celebrate with her, let her know her mama still is always with her and, care about her and everything. She like, oh, well, that'll be real good. And he like, oh, okay. And then the elevator start back up. He like, well, thanks for distracting me. I appreciate it. She like, oh, you distracted me too. And he like, well, at least can I get your name? She like, it's Cookie Lion. And so, meanwhile, she flashed back to remembering that for some reason. Meanwhile, we see Jamal playing on his piano. And then we see his boy come in, Kai. And so we see he got on his high waters. And so he look at Kai and he like, how you doing? How you feeling? He like, oh, now you're concerned about my feelings? He like, what's that mean? He like, I've been trying all my life to be a considered legit journalist, and now you put me in front of the cameras like a pop star. He like, you act like a pop star as a drug dealer. It's just that I didn't want to go from telling the story to being the story. He like, it's okay. Meanwhile, we see back at the studio, Becky, and she's in there and she's trying to be more like Dr. Dre, but she acting like Dr. Pepper. And so she's telling them how to put the damn song together, and then Giselle walk in, and so she tells old boy cut it short real quick so that her and can have some little girl talk. And so then she get all up in her. She like, what was that all about? And she like, girl, that was Kingsley sending a message to all of us that could be any of us at any time. So what I want you to do is just hold tight, and I'ma handle Kingsley. She like, oh, okay, so we not making moves now, huh? She like, I got Kingsley when the time is right. I just need you to be cool. She like, oh, so you know something that I don't know? You know what I'm saying? I mean, what? And she like, just zip it. Just zip it. I got this. She like, oh, okay. All right, we'll see. And she like, girl, I'm watching you. Okay? And she like, no. I'm watching you. Okay? No, don't come at me like that. I'm watching you. And so she give her the little point back to let her know, you know, she watching her as if she was the last piece of cake. Meanwhile, we see Cookie, and she's on her way to Candace's house. And so we see Candace getting ready to walk out the door, and right when she opened up the door, Cookie walk right in, slide on in, slide in the DM. And so she like, Cookie, what are you doing here? And she like, Candace, we need to talk. You my sister, and we need to talk. We need to see what's going on. She like, it's nothing to talk about, Cookie. And she like, well, how is Franklin? How is he doing? I need to know, Candace. How is everything? She like, well, he's not doing good, okay? He's institutionalized, okay? And she like, I'm sorry, Candace. I was scared. I didn't know what to do, okay? I was worried. It looked like he was gonna kill you. She like, Cookie, it was just one of his episodes, okay? He goes through it. It happens. She like, episode, he was gonna kill you. She like, how would you know? Have you ever called the police on Andre? And she like, Andre? She like, you mad right now, Candace. She like, oh, is that right? She like, oh, of course not. She like, it's different. And Andre, the murdering convict, of course it's different. She like, he never did that to me though. And she like, yeah, now my own sweet boy is drooling over himself and doesn't even recognize me, his own mother. And this is what you did to me. You need to go, Cookie. That's what your phone call did to me and my family and my home. And she crying, and Candace, she like, bye, Cookie, and close the door on her. Meanwhile, we see Hakeem, and he's going to meet up with Blake. And he come in, he like, oh, you got a crew now, huh? And so his boys, they all around. Each one of them is kind of, you know, woofing. And he like, man, your fans is tripping, man. Death threats and everything. He like, man, I ain't never tell nobody to do no whack stuff like that. Man, you know, I love them kids like my own. He like, man, you need to go ahead and end this stuff, man. This wasn't what it was about. And he like, man, I ain't tell nobody to do that, man. So, you know, you want to come, man, have a drink or something, man, we can talk about it. And so he like, yeah, that's cool. Why not? And so he was coming over to have a drink. And then Hakeem was like, yeah, man, I accept your apology, man. But, and he like, hold up, man, we can have a drink, but I ain't apologizing. I didn't say nothing. You the one that released the diss track first. He like, man, you over there talking about my girl and stuff. He like, hey, man, she wasn't seeming like your girl when I was over there cooking and stuff with your kids. He like, man, what the hell you just say? And he was like, man, you heard me, man. I ain't afraid of you, Hakeem. That's what you trying to pull. And so he like, oh, okay. So he act like he was gonna walk away, and next thing you know, he up strapped, pointed at his dome. And so he ain't even shook. He's standing there looking at him. His boys up strapped, and then Blake's crew up strapped. And so now everybody is in a little standoff. And so Blake tell his friends, hey man, put your guns down, man. Hakeem like, hey man, you better fix this, man. It's going too far. You better fix this. And he just staring at Hakeem the whole time. And he walking away. Hey, man, you got to fix this, bro. And Blake just looking at him. And I think it just made it worse. So meanwhile, we see Giselle meeting out of the street with her little detective girl, and she's laying out all the evidence about Kingsley. She like, yeah, this is his mother. She went by a different name, but she liked her mom's name. She's in the hospital, and he visits her all the time. And she used to go to Philly to hang out with this one drug dealer that was in music. She like, Lucius Lyon. And she like, yeah. And then right around that time is when Kingsley was born, and he doesn't have a father on the birth certificate. She like, so Lucius is his father. And so now she pulls off. Meanwhile, Lucius is trying to put together a plan on how they can get Kingsley back. And then Cosby like, man, I don't know, man. How we gonna do this? Who can we trust? And he's like, I don't know. We need to find a way to get that information. He like, yeah, he's gonna have top level encryption. We gotta find some other way. And then see Thirsty starts to smile. Cosby Jr. got a plan. Meanwhile, we see later in the other city, Becky. And she's coming to meet up with Cosby Jr. She's wearing her little mustard colored jacket. She slides on into the booth. He like, come on in, you look good. She like, oh, I stopped eating carbs. And next thing you know, she inhaled a few French fries without even realizing it. And so he's talking, that was part of the plan to leave a little hors d'oeuvres out for her. And so she's talking, she's like, hey, what's going on? He like, hey, nothing much. We need a little talk to you about something. She like, what's going on? You know that means Lucius and Cookie, and not just we. We're not part of their family. And that's what they always consider is family first. And I work too hard at Empire to be losing everything for them. Like, look, I feel you on that. But how come when Kingsley vaulted the music, you came and told him? Because he like, that ain't even a full sentence. That ain't a full word. She like, okay, what do you want to know? And he like, all right, slide this into Kingsley's computer. She like, what? What are you know what you're asking me to do? He like, yeah, we know what we're asking you to do. It's time to pick a side, big grasshopper. Which one you gonna be? And so she's starting to think about it, and she realized, you know, money is on the line. So you see it back at Empire, Becky trying to slide around and be a little secret spy. And so she's trying to move around looking for the computer. She looks up under the desk trying to find it, don't find it. She almost had a hard time getting up. She made it out of there, saw the computer. She make her way over there, and right when she was about to get to the computer, Kingsley pops up. So she kind of, you know, freezes. He like, you looking for something? She like, oh yeah, I'm looking for my raise, my bonus. What happened? And so she plays it off, and he like, oh, okay, I know you're mad about the vaulting of the stuff. She like, yeah, well, I had credits on that music. I worked hard for that stuff. He like, I understand. I know what it's like not to get the credit you deserve. She like, yeah. And he like, I know Lucius wanted you to come over there, and you didn't go, and I appreciate your loyalty. She like, yeah, that's why I'm here fighting for what's mine. And so she goes back to her purse to get out the little stick, because she's still trying to stick to the plan. And so right when she got it, he said, that's why I'm doubling your salary. And that threw her off guard. She like, what? What you say? And so, you know, she always liked doubles. And so he like, yeah, I'm going to double your salary because I appreciate your loyalty. And she like, oh, okay, is that right? And so right when she gets ready to leave, she empties out her purse as a distraction and slides the card in there. And she played it off, but she know that she can't trust him. So later we see Andre, and he's into the files, and he like, yeah, Becky did it. And I see where Kingsley's got this extra revenue. It's the U.S. government. And then they like, what? What do you mean? He like, Kingsley's selling the information to the government. And he like, so he's using that, and he's using that information to track minorities and then sell it. He's misusing people. We got to get this out. And he like, well, if the wrong people know, they can know you doing it on purpose. And so he like, I know how. And so he goes to Kai, and he's explaining to Kai what's going on about how they selling the information. And then Jamal like, Kai, you shouldn't get involved with this. I don't think this is a good idea. And Kai's like, no, it's fine. I'll handle this. And Lucius like, no, Jamal, they're bad. They're using it as a listening device for minorities, and they're spying on them. This was my company, and they're misusing it. He like, this is too messy. Kai like, no, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to follow it wherever this road leads. And so, next thing you know, at the hospital, Kingsley's going to check on Mom Dukes, and right when he opened up the door, he's shocked to find none other than Giselle sitting right there talking about, hey, what's up? And so he's floored. He's like, what? And she's like, oh, she's asleep. You can come on in. And so he's checking on his mom, and he's like, what are you doing here? She's like, oh, don't worry about it. I want to talk to you about, more importantly, my future and what's going on here. And so now he's like shook, because now he know the cat's out the bag. Meanwhile, we see Lucius and Cookie, and they all hugged up, celebrating about how they putting together the showcase. He like, girl, you are handling this like a boss. And then Candace comes. She like, Candace, hey, I'm glad you came. Why don't you come? And Lucius like, yeah, how's, why don't you stay for dinner? And she like, I'm sorry, I can't. He's like, how's Franklin? She like, sorry, I'm not here. I can't be here long. And she's like, well, Candace, I'm glad you're here. She like, don't thank me yet, Cookie. You turned my life upside down. It's time for me to return the favor. And so then she like, what are you talking about? And then she drops the file on Lucius' lap about the condo, and he's reading it. And she like, he's like, what is this? She like, it's Cookie's condo. $4 million in equity. All this time. That's your ride or die, Lucius. She could have bailed you out and saved you at any minute. And that's what you got. That must be some love, some loyalty. And Cookie sitting there, salty, steaming. She like, Candace, this is wrong. And then Lucius like, what is this? And then she like, well, there you go, Cookie. See you later. And she walks off. And now Lucius like, what is this? You own this? Your name is on this? All that we've been going through, you could have bailed us out at any time? And she's speechless. Meanwhile, on the other side of the house, we see Hakeem and Tiana going at it. She like, I thought I told you to end that with Blake, and you couldn't do it. He like, what you do having him in the house around my kids? You a bird, T. She like, what? What are you talking about? Move, I'm out of here. He like, you ain't going nowhere with my son. She like, what? You need to move. You acting stupid. He like, no, you stupid. You the one had to have somebody there next to you all the time while, my kids was there. She like, I don't know where you was, and you acting crazy. Come here, where's Bella? He like, Bella ain't even yours, so what you asking for? She like, I love her like mine, and you don't act like she yours. Meanwhile, Cookie and Lucius are still upset, and he's saying, I thought you loved me. All this time with no air condition, all the stuff, and you don't trust me? I couldn't trust you. I try to forgive you for a lot of stuff that a lot of women wouldn't forgive you for. And I'm trying, Lucius. He like, you ain't trying. If you was, we could have been did things different. She like, well, I couldn't trust you, and I couldn't trust me from not giving in to you. He like, oh, is that right? You can't trust yourself, save yourself from me. And he took out his little switchblade, started cutting up the paint, and she like, Lucius, what you doing? And he like, this right here is a fake. I sold the real one because we needed the money. All of this stuff that I've been doing is for nothing. All of this LFM is all a fake. It's for nothing. And then they hear Tiana and Hakeem arguing down the hall. And they like, hold on, what you doing? He like, mama, stay out of this. He like, don't talk to your mama like that. And then Bella come with a gun talking about, look what I found. And everybody's sitting there speechless. Bella. And then she like, look. And she pointing it at them. Nobody is rushing towards her or anything. They're like, Bella, don't move. Just stop. And she like, what? Look. And she's still pointing at the gun at him, and she playing. Then she looks right down the barrel of the gun, and everybody gets all scared and speechless. And then, of course, they end the episode on a cliffhanger. But what's crazy is they should have had one of them run over there to grab that gun out of her hand or scream stop or put it down or something. But they were all frozen and speechless, and nobody had gave her any education about guns, so there's no telling what may have happened. And also, it's messed up that Cookie never had told Lucius about the condo, and they selling the furs and selling everything, and she's saying, but she forgave him. But if she really forgave him, it wouldn't have been a secret that she was holding, especially when she asked him not to keep secrets. So it can't be, you know, the one set of rules for her and a different for him. That's what kind of caused a lot of the problems between their relationship at the end right there. So it'll be interesting to see how they get over this. In the end, thanks for watching. I appreciate everything and all the support, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.